Hey everyone.
Hello,
Oh, go ahead, Talia.
hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. We're going to go over a brief demo of Glance for Microsoft Dynamics. Please use the tools to submit your questions, and we'll answer what we can at the end. And whatever we don't answer, we will follow up and email you with a response. Without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Heather.
Yeah, thanks, Talia. I was quick to jump the gun there. Thanks everybody for joining us today on this demo. We appreciate the opportunity to show you how we help enterprises earn, keep, and grow customers by enabling human-to-human collaboration in digital spaces. I am just going to run through a few slides to give some background before I pass it off to Dan for the demo. So Glance allows you to create collaborative experiences inside of mobile apps, portals, and websites. Our customers fully brand the experiences, so their customers don't even know they're using Glance. It keeps everybody the context they're working in, so there's no need to restart a workflow or change applications, and it can be right in the moment, right when somebody needs a human. And Glance is used in a variety of use cases during a digital customer journey. When people think of Cobrowse, they often think of a support use case where you're giving someone like account assistance or troubleshooting equipment. But our customers actually use Glance to help with things like purchase decisions. They explore other services. That's used during advisory services, so getting advice or consultation, and even teaching customers how to self-serve on new platforms. For example, one of our customers recently saw a 34% increase in self-service after having a Glance Cobrowse session, which then in turn increased product activation and success rates. And customers can use any browser or device, and the companies can use any CRM, contact center, or even a custom desktop system. Today, what we're going to do is show it out of Microsoft Dynamics. Glance is super easy to use, and it is proven for enterprise-grade security and scale. And I wanted to take just a minute to talk about how Glance and AI can work together. You can leverage your AI agents, co-pilots, or bots to help facilitate what we call smart transfers to a Glance collaborative session. So these smart transfers can be triggered by conditions like a failed attempt, negative sentiment or frustration, sensitive topics, or even an interaction with a VIP customer. All those things you can use AI to help detect, and then pass that off to Glance to start a co-browse session automatically. This allows you to have the best of both worlds, AI and humans. And we do have a breadth of visual collaboration capabilities inside of our product set. While our flagship is Cobrowse, you can do a lot of things while in a Glance session to help customers achieve that goal. So Dan will show you how it all works during the demo. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Dan.
Great, thank you, Heather. Can you see my screen?
We can, yes.
Outstanding, outstanding. Thanks for joining everybody today. Thank you for your time. On my screen, here on the right, I have a customer or visitor to a website. This is just a Glance demonstration website. It's a generic global financial services website that we're going to be using for this use case. And over here on the left, we have an agent or associate who is logged into Microsoft Dynamics 365. We can see that Marshall Erickson has called into the contact center, and during the call, I've brought up Marshall's record. Here in this Glance collaboration frame here, you can see the Glance controls. This is where the associates who are utilizing Dynamics 365 will actually kick off the Glance Cobrowse collaboration sessions, and we'll keep an eye on this during our initial go to get the screens going as well. So during this conversation, I've determined that it would be great to have our customer, Marshall, who is interested in a credit card, getting a new credit card from our bank, and taking Marshall through that application process with a Cobrowse session is going to be what we're going to want to do here. So in this first scenario, we're going to say that Marshall, even though I've got him up as a customer here in the interface for Dynamics, I'm going to say that Marshall cannot log in yet. He does not yet have a login. And if you have a customer who cannot authenticate yet, I'm going to show you how they would join a session, and then the contrast to that, I'm going to show you how someone who can authenticate will join a session, because this is a unique thing for Glance. So if Marshall cannot authenticate, what I can do is send Marshall to somewhere on the website where you would have a button similar to this. This button says collaborate with an associate, but our customers deploy this button in a variety of ways. You could make it an icon, you could say Cobrowse, you could say share your screen, those types of things as well. But if I direct the customer there and they click on the button, they're going to get a dialog box that pops up that says, mind if I browse with you? Now, keep in mind that all of these boxes that pop up that you see from the Glance perspective can be edited for both style and contents so you can keep this in brand with your mobile application, with your website, those types of things. So all of your online branding can be kept in these dialog boxes. If the customer clicks accept, they're given a code. This is pretty much table stakes for Cobrowse nowadays, but this is the way this gets started. And in this particular case, I would then ask the customer for their code. I would click the enter key button that you see me clicking on the left-hand side here for the agent or associate. And then I would enter the key that the customer would give me and click the join button. I'm not going to show you that today simply because I want to show you the way that we can actually do it by detecting the customer's presence on the website. So I did not fire up the session there. What I'm going to do is actually have Marshall log in. So in this scenario, Marshall actually is a validated customer. He can log in. So I'm going to actually have him log in. So Marshall logs in. If you keep your eye here on the Glance frame here within Microsoft Dynamics, you will see that this join button appeared when Marshall logged in. Now, this is a unique quality of the Glance deployment here. So we can have an integration with any website where when the visitor logs in, we are able to detect that they are logged into your web estate, and we can actually light this join button up. So it's now, when I'm ready to fire up a Cobrowse session with Marshall, instead of sending him down to somewhere on the website where he has to click a button, all I have to do is this one-click join. When I click the join button, we're going to see that we'll get a little dialog box here pop up here. I'm going to refresh this real quick. My apologies. Let's just refresh the whole thing here really quickly. We'll go back into Marshall's record. And we'll bring up Marshall. We'll bring it back up here. And when we click join, it doesn't seem to be responsive, as sometimes it can happen during a demo. Please bear with me. We're going to refresh one more time. My apologies. Okay. There we go. So now I get the dialog box to pop up when I just click the join button. So I don't have to have the customer provide me with a code or anything like that. And when they click accept, we're going to fire up the session, and we'll see things happen on both sides. The customer is going to get a pop-up that says that the agent is viewing the browser. And we can see that over here on the agent side, we've just popped up another tab. So we can still go back into the customer service workspace in Dynamics and service the customer account. I can end the session from the associate side here at any time by clicking end session. But now on the second tab, we can see we have a Glance session that is active. And now we can see that as the customer scrolls the website, we scroll along with them. As the customer clicks anywhere on the website, we can see where they're clicking by the little heat indicator here on the left-hand side for the agent. And the same thing takes place on the customer side. I can see where the agent is mousing. If I'm mousing as the agent, If I click as an agent, we can see that I am gesturing to the customer where they need to click. And in this particular case, I can also click and drag. But I'm going to say, hey, Marshall, you've indicated that you're interested in credit cards. If you click here on the credit card uh, item here, object, that'll take you to the credit cards page. And now here, we'll follow him to the credit card page. And now we can talk about all of the different things. I can highlight different fees, rewards, points, those types of things. This is the part of the interaction where I can do cross-sell, upsell, things like that. I can talk about the different levels and membership things on the cards themselves. And so as we follow along here, we'll get Marshall to go ahead and click on apply now, and Marshall will click on apply. We'll follow him to the application page. When we get to the application page, the customer can begin filling this out. Marshall begins filling out the form. And we can follow along and validate all of the input. Now, you may notice that in here on this Glance Session tab, we have a number of features that are up here in the toolbar on the right-hand side. Keep in mind that all of these features are optional. So if you do not need one of these or any of these particular extended capabilities beyond Cobrowse, they can be disabled. But most of our customers are using these additional features. I can do things like add additional guests. I can share additional screens or have the customer share their screen. I can offer remote assist to the customer if they want help filling out forms. I can also initiate a share document session where we can actually share documents back and forth in a secure manner during the session. And I can also activate video, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So in order to make this even more deeply humanize this particular interaction, if I want to, I can click the agent video button. And what that does is it's going to give the customer a preview. You can see me here in the customer preview screen. And they can do things like blur and unblur the background here, or select different cameras. And again, this is just one of those dialog boxes that can be edited for style and content. If they click yes, it's going to pop. You're going to see our two-way video down here in the modal. We can move this little modal or widget around to any corner of the screen. I can move that as the agent or the associate, or I can move it as the customer. If I want it to take more prominence, I can resize the video to make it the central focus of the interaction here as well, so we can talk. And again, keep in mind, all of this is over the top. So we're not providing the voice. That is the CCAS system that's providing the voice when they've called in, but the video is completely over the top. Keep in mind, there's never anything for the customer to download or the associate as well. I can also move this completely out of the way by clicking the minimize button. So if this customer were on a mobile device, and let's just resize the customer's browser screen, you can see it automatically resizes the agent or associate screen as well. So if I'm on an iPad or an iPhone, some sort of mobile device where there's less screen real estate, we're able to actually resize that automatically so the agent and associate can, more accurately see what the customer is actually seeing as well, which gives us, makes that very handy to move that video widget out of the way. So that's the ability to provide agent video. The next thing I want to show you is the ability to share documents. So let's say Marshall gets here to the application page, and when he drops down the box, he's like, yeah, I really don't remember which card I wanted to sign up for, right? Well, instead of having to send him back, maybe I want to send a little document that says, hey, Marshall, if you click here on this compared cards, he can click here, we'll bring up the PDF, and we can co-browse this PDF together, right? He can click, I can click, we can highlight, we can talk about those different levels again that we talked about on the previous page. But in addition to the ability to embed a PDF in the page, I can just click on the shared document icon up here. And when I do, I can either send files to the customer or request files from them. In this particular case, I want to select this approved document that I can share. These are really just bookmarks to documents that you can have set up. And when I click the credit card comparison, I'm going to get a preview of what I'm about to share. Then I can share it. And now we can co-browse that same PDF, but with one main difference. The customer can actually download it. If I actually go up here to the right-hand side on the customer, I can download that file directly. So instead of having to email the customer, having them wait for the email, check their spam, things like that, we can do the secure document share directly within the Glance session, very quickly speeding up this interaction here. We can close that out at any time. And I talked about the ability to request a document from the customer as well, right? So everything works generally two ways here. So I can send a request for the customer to share a document. And let's say that I need a copy of Marshall's identification here, right? So if he clicks accept, Marshall's going to get a dialog box that asks him to either drag a file or choose a file from his hard drive. And Marshall happens to have a PDF copy of his driver's license. So Marshall gets a preview, similar to what I had as the agent earlier, gets a preview of what he's about to share before he shares it. And when he shares it, keep your eye up on this share document icon here. You'll see something appear. When we do share it, now we can co-browse this document together as well. But now on the share document icon, you can see it's a bit of an eye chart, but there's a little red dot up there. What that indicates to me is that the customer shared a document with me, and I've automatically cached for download the document that the customer shared. So I can just merely click on this, and when I do, I can download that document directly from the customer, and I could put this into Microsoft Dynamics or on a SharePoint or something like that as well, right? So that again shows you the capability of being able to very, very quickly share documents back and forth. The next thing I want to show you is the ability to do remote assist. So let's say that Marshall has an accessibility issue, or he needs me to help him fill out this form, right? Keep in mind that all of these functions up here are optional. So if you don't want the ability to, have an agent or group of agents to have remote assist, you can simply turn that off and it will not appear. But if the customer does request it and I have the capability, I can just simply click remote assist. And we're always going to ask before we do anything on the customer side here, do we want to allow the agent to take control? If the customer says yes, they're going to get a prompt now that the agent is controlling the browser. You may have also seen there was a yellow highlight on the tab we were co-browsing, and now there's a red highlight on the tab we're co-browsing, just to give the customer a little more visual clue that I can control just this browser window. I can't control the desktop or anything like that. It's just within the browser window. And we can actually control what the agent can provide or can access in this as well. So if I go over here to the agent side and I click here, I can now enter information for the customer, and the customer can follow along, right? So now they're validating what I am actually putting in, but they don't need to blindly accept everything that I put in. They can take control, maintain control. And let's say I put in something that they don't like. Maybe I put in that they live in Austin. Well, the customer can come over here, Marshall can click, take back control and override anything that I put in, right? So again, they're not just sitting and waiting. If they want to jump in and correct anything that I've done, they can take back control and override that at any time as well. Now you'll see when we get down here to things like personally identifiable information, such as the social security number, we can mask the social security number. We can mask entire pages. We can mask things by CSS class. We can mask individual objects on the page as well, as you're seeing here. So as the customer enters their social security number, we can see it's masked. I can tell that something's being entered, but I don't know what's being entered. And keep in mind that none of this information that's being masked ever leaves the customer browser. It stays in the customer browser. We don't save any of the information that you would see entered here. All we save is the metadata about the session, start time, stop time, did we co-browse, did we do remote assist, did we share documents, things like that. So we're not saving the information. We also don't record a screen or anything like that. We're not in the business of saving customer information. So we get down here. You've seen the ability to mask this information from the PII standpoint, but I mentioned earlier that we can actually control what the agent has access to help the customer with. So we're going to get down here to the bottom of the form. And when we finished up the form here, you can see that the submit your application object is obscured from the agent as well. We call this restricted editing. This is remote assist with restricted editing. And you wouldn't legally want the agent in this particular case to submit the application. The customer would need to do that. But this showcases our ability to control and restrict what the agent can edit on behalf of the customer. The customer would have to submit the application.
Hey, Dan, we have about 5 minutes left.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Okay, this next piece here is the ability to share screen. So the customer would submit an application. Let's say the customer moves away from the screen here and onto this third-party website where they're looking at some competitor information. Well, the agent's going to get a pop-up that says the visitors tab is no longer visible. They've moved away. Maybe there's a phone call that happens during a mobile interaction or something like that. But whenever they're not focused on the tab being co-browsed, I can actually have them show me this additional tab if I want to see this and have the context of the competitive information that they're looking at. All I have to do is simply have them refocus here back on the tab we're co-browsing, and I can actually send them a request to share their additional browser tab. They'll get a little dialog box. They can actually pick the tab that they want to share. When they do, we just pop up another view on top of the co-browse tab for the agent. And now, as the customer has questions about some competitive information they're seeing, we can actually talk them through this and have that context. They can stop sharing this at any time and go back to the original co-browse tab. The last thing we can do is add guests. If I could add up to 10 video guests as well. Let's say Ted has a spouse out here that needs to be part of this joint application or something like that. If I click add guest, the customer will be presented with this and they will have to allow the agent to add a guest. I can then copy a link as an agent and I can send it via SMS or email or something like that to the far end. And Nancy, who is out here, can actually jump on that URL. She can enter her name and she can click continue. She'll then get a code that she can provide us when we conference her into the phone call. And we can then admit her to the conference. She will actually get a pop-up here when she gets admitted because we've got video enabled. And when she actually gets admitted here, actually, let's try that one more time. And my apologies if it's not working. We'll just actually cancel this part of the demo. Oh, there we go. There we go. And so she's going to say continue. She'll share her video as well. We can have up to 10 video users, a virtually unlimited number of non-video users here. And now we can see that we're in a very controlled three-way co-browse here. We can have many multiple parties here. Nancy can end this whenever she wants. She can leave the session when she's happy with it. We can send her to any URL. And now we're back to finishing up the co-browse here. And one more tool that we have is the ability to do what we call mobile camera share. So if during the interaction, I need to be able to see the customer's mobile camera, and we had a lot of our financial services customers use this during COVID, I can simply click camera share, put in their mobile number, and I'm actually going to bring up my mobile device here quickly. And you can see that I'm actually in my messaging interface. When I send the SMS, I'm going to get a little link to a URL, which I'll go to on my phone. And now I can allow someone to see my mobile camera. It'll pop up another tab on the agent side. And the reason why this became very popular during COVID is financial services customers didn't want to actually have to send their customers to the branch to be able to do this. They wanted to be able to take a picture. I could actually bring up a screen capture at this time, do front and back if this were an actual state issued ID or a passport or something like that. But it just showcases our ability to bring another tool to bear here. The customer can stop sharing this at any time, and we can go back to the, keep in mind that we're still on the phone here. We've just done the co-browse, so we've done a collaborative session, we've shared the camera, things like that. We're still on the phone, and I'll finish up the demo just by saying this kind of showcases our ability to bring many tools to bear during an interaction during that collaboration in the moment to be able to solve problems for the customer, to be able to do cross-sell, upsell, and have that optimal outcome for this particular interaction. And I'm going to actually change the presenter and give it back to Heather. Heather?
Thank you, Dan. Let me just end here. I think that completes our demonstration today and our conversation. I don't see any questions in the chat, so we're going to end it here and just say thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.